welcome to another Doing Stuff with Me beard. If you may recall, in the last video I mentioned about potentially having a new project. I do have a new project. I bought it. It is a car. It is a car that I have wanted since I passed my driving test. And it's going to be a bit of a long project. I'll show you why in a minute. But I got it for a pretty decent, well, a very good price. And it came with lots of spares. I did tease a little shot of it on my Instagram page. Not enough to show what it was, but yeah, let's share what it is. So this is my, well now mine, 1994 Swift GTi. My very first car was a 1 litre Swift, the GLS, but it was like a 2001-ish model. So the slightly more boring one. But during that period of time, there was an awful lot of like car forums, and I ended up on the Swift GTi one because they allowed all models of Swifts at the time, and I kind of really always wanted one of these, and always kind of stopped myself from doing it because of the cost at the time, because I was saving for other things. So and then my Almera GTi came up just down the road. No, it was an SRI, not a GTi. My Almera SRI came up and I got that instead as my first proper car that I owned myself. So yeah, it's a it's going to be a fixer-upper. Nothing is really bolted in place. Most of the panels aren't bolted on properly. It's going to need new bolts all around, even like on the suspension arms and things. But I have a mass of spares that I can work on for certain things. I'm thinking of doing poly bushes where I can, and a few other choice bits and bobs, which I'll think about as the project goes on. I think one of the first things I need to do is kind of come up with a list and an order of what needs to be done and what I'm planning on doing. And unfortunately there's probably going to be another garage organising video, because the way I've got things now is not going to be enough for me to work on everything easily, I think. But that's a future me problem. So let's have a proper look round, shall we? I feel like I should be doing one of those meme videos like the Mighty Car Mods guys were doing, like what's broken, this. So like not attached properly, doesn't have a bonnet catch, this doesn't work without having this thing, yeah, so like, you know, nothing's really connected properly. I am currently missing an injector. I do also have a spare windscreen and some other glass to collect for this, but that's a future me job. The battery tray wasn't connected, the anti-roll bars are in the garage. Yeah, so like I say, it's a definite fixer-upper, but all the important bits that I've found so far, I need to take the skirts off and do a proper check of those at some point, but like, you know, crusty stuff around the doors. The door locks are a bit awkward. I need to grease those up. As you can see, the seats aren't bolted in, but proper classic 90s hatchback. Slightly worrying. Standard fit flipping alarm system that I might have to figure out at some point. But yeah, everything that was cool about cars from the 90s. Because I'm thinking of like going aftermarket ECU and stuff on this as well, just to try and pulling things apart at the moment, just to have a bit of a Uganda. Yeah, like gear linkage isn't attached. Lots of things aren't attached, so but yeah, it's going to be a fun one. I think talking to the guy that I've bought it off, he was saying that somebody else came and looked at it, and the look of panic on his face when he was having a look at it, because he thought it was a very simple job, but it's definitely not a simple one. But great. I think worst comes to the worst. I'm not going to... That was something in the back just falling down. I don't think I'd lose money on it, because like there are still people that drive these things around, and this is got a lot of parts. I've got a lot of spare bits, so yeah. But yeah, anyway, let's keep looking around. So, you know, there's not a lot in the rear. Let's see if I can get out without dying. But yeah, still got the standard original alloys, which is quite cool. They will probably actually stay on for now. I don't think I'll replace those unless I find a really good deal on something I think is cool enough. But the like I say, it's just like someone stuck a sticker on here at some point, and on there there's crusty bits here and there. I've got to figure out how to pop this open, because currently the cable for that isn't attached. A few little bits like rust and things to clean up, but my plan is to like go through, kind of sand bits back, rust convert bits, and then figure out whether I previously, years ago, had a Civic Coupe that I painted with industrial floor paint, and I'm kind of tempted to do the same thing with this. If not that, we can always vinyl wrap it or something, I don't know. I ain't got that far. Main thing for now is to get it running, and some form of MOT, hopefully. But yeah, apparently the engine's potentially okay. It turns over. Could probably do with a new cam belt, and because I am a pansy, I am going to probably take the engine out to do all this, because I think what I would like to do with this car that I've not done on a car before is fit throttle bodies. So in theory I can get rid of all this mess and replace it with something simpler, which is why I was thinking of going aftermarket ECU as well. But there's a few things I've got to figure out for that to work. But I think my plan is to try and keep a spreadsheet of everything that I'm spending on this. So I think one of the first things I'm going to buy is a workshop manual for it. Also going to see if there's any old school Haynes manuals for the Swift about on eBay, because the majority of everything in here is the same as across the normal Swifts, as well as the GTi. And who doesn't love a Haynes manual? I used to, for ages, still have my Almira one laying around somewhere, but I may have got rid of it by now. I had a bit of a clear out of stuff. But yeah, like you see, there's nothing much. Like the windscreen wiper motor's not there. It's in a box down there. Like I say, I've got spare front axles, which is cool because that means I could always get those rebuilt if ever needed. Front and rear hubs, the cat, anti-roll bars, rear arms, and a stainless exhaust, which is kind of cool because those sort of bits don't really exist easily anymore. I've already found a place in Australia that potentially still does the like 4-to-1 manifolds or 4 straight to 1 manifolds, which would be quite good if I could get one of those. Because if you're going, if you're going throttle bodies, like, it kind of makes sense. Like, petrol tank is on the floor, but it seems like it's in really good nick. Like, he was showing me the inside of it, and it's pretty clean in there. Spare sets of lights and my actual wiper arms, which I have to figure out how to refit. The fuel pump, which actually, that being out of the car already, is probably pretty good because that means I can replace it. Something a bit better. The only thing that I will have to try and find is a replacement gasket, because that's a bit, and bolts actually, unless they're on there. They're not on there, so I have to figure out what size bolts they are and replace them. They don't have to be anything fancy. But yeah, it's a lot of bits. You're surprising what you can still get. There's certain bits that have disappeared off into obscurity, but the majority of everything that's important can be re-got. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by stuff. All the rear seat belts. I've got a full set of lowering springs. So I haven't decided if I want to go, because coilovers are quite expensive. You're talking about £1,000. But a set of like Coney shocks, it's about 400 or 500 quid, I think. But you end up with normal top mounts and things. I don't know. I don't know. For what I'm doing, I'm not really sure what I need. But yeah, so this is going to be my spare time for the foreseeable future. But I am not mad. Like I say, I've wanted one of these for God knows how long. And I'd been looking at a few, but they were on like the other side of the country, and they'd been up for sale for a while, and it was all a bit, I'm not entirely sure whether they're actually any good or not. Already with like bike carbs or bike throttle bodies on. But I don't mind the bike throttle body things, but I've known people that have done it and they end up, it might have just been them doing a bad job, but they've always been a bit of a faff. So I think like trying to do it from scratch myself is the best way to go. So yeah, I think for now I'm going to leave it there. I know it's a very short video, but I need to sit down and start getting on with organising and figuring out what I'm doing. Finally make use of my whiteboard and make a list. Figure out where to start, and then make videos as we go along. And hopefully you enjoy watching them as much as I enjoy making them. Yeah. So, as always, if you've watched to the end of the video, thank you very much for watching, and hopefully see you in the next one. There will be other videos in between. There won't just be car videos from now on, because obviously not everyone's into car videos. but tough. But yeah, this is my, I don't want to go for a walk somewhere, what can I do kind of thing. Keep me out of trouble. But yeah, like I say, I'm waffling now. So we'll stay to the end. Thanks for watching, and actually bye this time.